Jadeveon Clowney is a game changer that way. The Eagles thing is concerning. You're right. They're already, here we are, week 1, offensive line issues. Where's Alshon Jeffrey? Jalen Rieger's got a hurt shoulder. Miles Sanders has a soft tissue lower body injury, right? Something like that. So we don't even know what we're going to see offensively from this football team to start the year, let alone they got to play, a front four with Washington, the football team, who has a pass rush. Let me just tell you, I think that's going to be fun to watch here. And now you got an offensive line who's got some new parts and working together and all of that. It just seems to me that right away it's going to be like, hey, Carson, you remember how we ended off last year? We need you to pick it up right there once again. So we'll see where that goes. I think you dropped them a little far, but that I get it.
Well, I initially dropped them 1. Put the graphic back up, please. I dropped them 1, and then I compared them to the team that was next to them. Right? I dropped them behind the Steelers, then I put them with the Cowboys. I got to put them behind the Cowboys. With the Vikings, got to put them behind the Vikings. The Packers, got to put them behind the Packers. That's how they fell 4.
Yeah, I get that.
And when I finally got down to the Broncos, I said we're going to leave them there. And that was yesterday with the Broncos. Now we'd have to reshuffle the deck with the Broncos post Von Miller.
Yeah.
They're not staying at number 15. Regardless of, now, if they beat the Titans next week on Monday Night Football to start the season, then maybe they stay at number 15. But going into week 1, they're going to be lower than 15. They should be lower than 15 with Von Miller done.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's a huge game changer. And like we talked about, it's a young offense. I don't expect them to just come out firing on all cylinders and Drew Lock throwing for 350 yards and everything working correctly. I could see them hitting some bumps in the road and having to rely on that defense. And, yeah, like you said, now it's no Von Miller, and we don't think Bradley Chubb is going to be totally 100% dominant, the guy we saw our rookie year. So I got questions there, too. I get it.
Yeah, and
you're not moving that again, top 5 though. I mean, that's going to stay same, right?
No. The top 5's not changing, and I, if anything, I feel more strongly about having the Patriots at number 4. I put them at number 4 before we knew what Cam Newton was going to be, before we knew who the starting quarterback was going to be. The Patriots have handled all of the uncertainty and all of the unpredictability so well, and we already see that first glimmer of Bill Belichick hacking the rules in a legitimate way. 53 players on the roster. No kickers on the active roster, 2 kickers on the practice squad, the ability to move 2 guys up every week from the practice squad to the active roster. He's going to take, and that's just a one glimpse of all the rules that are out there, all the things you can do. The unlimited placement of players on injured reserve this year, and they can return after 3 weeks. You can stash guys left and right. Now, they did that as a counterbalance to the pandemic, but it's legitimate now. You can stash guys 3 weeks at a time. That's something Bill Belichick would love to do. He's going to take full advantage of everything.
No doubt.
He is going to master the chaos. And, we're making our playoff and Super Bowl picks. We always do it just in time for the start of the season. I'm trying to come up with a good argument as to why the Patriots aren't going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and I just feel like this year they're going to find a way to do it, especially with Cam Newton if he stays healthy.
I got him in the playoffs. I'll say that. Yep, I got them winning a playoff game too, and wouldn't be shocked. Again, there's things to like about this football team. And, just what I know. And now they're going to need some of these young receivers to kind of, pop up and establish themselves. N'Keal Harry, I heard he had a tremendous camp up in New England. He seems to be like Cam Newton's go-to guy. That Julian Edelman's there. They got some young tight ends. They're going to have somebody step up there, a stable of running backs. But I just think between that and then McDaniels and Belichick figuring out the proper game plan and then, all the schematical tricks that they're capable of behind a guy like Cam Newton, yeah, I think the offense is going to be more dangerous than last year. That's for sure. And then defensively, again, yeah, I know Dante Hightower's not there. That hurts. There's a few players. Patrick Chung, in this point of his career, is not a huge blow to this football team. Nobody has more safeties on one single roster than the New England Patriots, so they can handle that. And they already have the best secondary in football. It's the best secondary in football. When you talk about J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, Stephon Gilmore, I'd have a hard time finding a better 3 than that. They can lock down just about anybody. So why wouldn't the Patriots be able to play the same style of football they played last year, which was play through their defense and do that, except now they have a quarterback that's capable of making more plays, and really, I think a quarterback that fits more of how their offense is actually built. And I'm with you, Mike. I don't think it's that crazy of a thought. I'll be shocked if New England and Cam and them are not good in some sort of force in the AFC.
Yeah, all time, Tom Brady is far more accomplished than Cam Newton.
Yeah.
No one can argue that.
No.
But when we compare 2019 Tom Brady to 2020 Cam Newton, that's an upgrade.
Sure.
And if he stays healthy, that's the key. If he stays healthy, the Patriots, I think, will be there at the end of the day and may, in fact, be in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't it be great to have Patriots-Buccaneers in
that
Tampa
would be
Bay for
unbelievable.
Super Bowl 55?
The one thing, I just have to say this, the one thing I heard consistently from people up in New England is the energy Cam Newton brings every day. I made a comment to someone up there about, when did he establish himself in the quarterback competition? When did he kind of take it over? And I was laughed at almost, as in the quarterback competition was over the second day Cam was in the building because the whole team gravitated towards him. And his personality and his charisma and everything, he just became the leader almost instantly from that standpoint. And I think that speaks a lot. And I think there is an excitement in New England about what Cam Newton's brought to that locker room and that football team. Just a different energy.
And the footage that we see on TV now or on your phone or your tablet, wherever you're watching Peacock, it doesn't do justice to what Cam Newton really is physically when you're in his presence. He is a giant. He is statuesque. He does draw you in. If you're on his team, if you're not on his team, you go run.
Right,
you don't want to mess with Cam Newton. And yeah, I think that presence, I think everything about him is something that is going to – and, we talk about that dynamic of Adrian Peterson with the Lions and all the fanboys in the locker room, like the center, Frank Ragnow, wants his autograph. And when Mike Vick was in the later stages of his career with all these guys who grew up following and idolizing Mike Vick, we're getting into a cut of players getting into the NFL now who grew up when Cam Newton was early in his NFL career. And, they're going to be in more awe of him. Now, they would have been that way with Tom Brady, too. But there's just you don't miss a beat when it comes to having that magnetic force in your locker room. And on top of it, he's pretty damn good when he's healthy.
Yeah, no, exactly right. He's got all of those things. He's what urban legend, whatever you want to say. He really is. He's that type of guy that I think young kids all followed. I admire the way he plays on the football field. It's different. We've never seen a guy play the position the way Cam Newton does. Never. I mean, it's unbelievable. All the short yardage runs, the physical contact, all of that. And, of course, that's why he was a little beat up. But hopefully we'll get a healthy Cam Newton and see where this goes. All right, so you haven't picked it yet. I mean, are you picking the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl? Where are you going there?
No, I'm not doing it till tomorrow. I'm taking as much time as I possibly can. I'd like to wait until after the Super Bowl to be 100% right, but they won't let me do that. They want me to do it before the season starts. All right, let's look at the second half of the PFT Week 1 Power Rankings, 17 through 32. Again, not much by way of change. The Derwin James injury knocks the Chargers down a spot, flip-flop with the Raiders. And then I like what Washington has done so much when they reached rock bottom. Instead of continuing to dig, they climbed out of it. And I did that same thing I did when I dropped the Eagles. Washington and the Jaguars, I'll give Washington the edge. Washington and the Panthers, same decision. And then finally, Washington and the Giants, I popped them up. And I stopped at 29 because I still think the Bengals are going to be better. It's hard when you get to the bottom.
It is.
Because I know it's gonna upset fans because when everyone part of what they're selling now is hope. Right, I get it. At 0-0, anything can happen. And could one of these teams in the low 20s rise all the way to the top? Yeah, sure, great. Look, fine, that happens. This is a snapshot of where they are now. We're not saying this is where they're going to be. This isn't a predicted finish. This is an assessment right now of where the 32 teams are, and somebody's got to be in the bottom 5. And, you can climb your way out of it or not.
Yeah, no, you can. And there's some redeeming qualities about those teams you see at the bottom. I mean, there's things to be excited about. I have a hard time. And, Kristen, could you put that, the group, the image back on there? I have a hard time thinking anybody in that bottom 4, though, can make a serious move this year. I just don't see how the roster is capable of that. Now, when you start getting the lower 20s, Mike, you start talking about the Rams, the Chargers, the Raiders, even the Bears at 25. Those are teams I perk up a little bit and go, there's some potential there. They could make some serious moves here in the first few weeks of the year. We'll see where that goes. The Atlanta Falcons at 19 and the Browns at 18. They are intriguing to me as well. But the Browns, with all those moving new parts too, new coaches, as talented as they are, I don't know. I just don't know if I can get behind it yet. I got to see it. But I think that's the area I look at to maybe some movers there, is that low 20s area that you got, to where those teams could be dancing around the top 10 maybe in a few weeks.
One of the teams that has made it into that upper reaches of the 20s, the Jets at number 24. Their general manager, Hugh Douglas, doesn't like the fact that people think
Joe
the team
Douglas
is going to stink. Who did I say?
Hugh Douglas. Yeah, he's not.
Hugh Douglas. Yeah, no, he's not the general manager of the Jets, and Joe Douglas was not a dominant defensive end 10 or 15 years ago. Joe Douglas, the GM of the Jets, isn't happy that people think the team is going to stink. Here's Douglas from a recent discussion with reporters.
Our guys don't live in a bubble. We see the things that are said. We see the things that are written, and it angers a lot of people. You stated that there's good players that were on this team last year that aren't playing this year. But just going through this camp, I can tell you that there's some guys on this team that may not be household names, but they're good football players.
That's Joe Douglas, and you always wonder not just about what's behind a guy when he's in a shot like that, but what are the choices that lead to the head being all the way down here.
Well, we
got to get that.
He wanted to get the helmet,
that Jets
emblem in. It's kind of cool.
We got to get that emblem in. That emblem's cool, but there's got to be a way to do it where you can get something more than this.
I don't know. I like the shot, actually. It wasn't that bad. I didn't want to see like his pecs or his arm muscles, so I'm cool with
I'd like to at least confirm that he has a neck.
Okay.
Can we at least confirm that he has a neck? Maybe he doesn't.
He legitimately seemed like bothered, though, that they're getting disrespected. I think that's like he was taking it personal. And I think we both agree that the Jets will be a better football team. I love what Joe Douglas and the Jets are in the conversation for winning the offseason. I think you and I are both defenders of Adam Gase, where we just don't understand the criticism at times. Now, the roster is better, but like Jets fans, don't go crazy here, all right? I mean, I don't think you're going to the playoffs. I think the thing that scares me is it's going to be a better football team. But, Mike, again, for the second year, I worry about the start of their schedule. That's where I just look at it and go, man, I could sit here and go, they could start out 1-3, 1-4, something like that. And when you get to that spot, your season's almost lost. It's very few teams that dig yourselves out of those type of holes. But when you go at Buffalo, 49ers coming there, then you got to go at the Colts, and then you got the Denver Broncos. Okay, that's a winnable game, certainly. But those first three games, I could tell you that I think the Jets are the lesser team on the field. No doubt about it.
And that is a reality. The more losses you pile up early, that reduces your margin for error later in the year. And if you start 1-3, 1-4, now look, it used to be once you got to loss number 5 or loss number 6, you had to get very nervous about your chances of making it to the playoffs. Now with 7 spots, maybe 9-7 gets you in. You still are probably going to need some help. And we've seen teams that would have been number 7 with 10 wins or 11 wins like the 2008 Patriots. But I think that, if they can weather the storm early and maybe win a game or two that they shouldn't.
Yes, that's right.
And then they finish like they did last year. See, that's the thing. There was a time not that long ago where a significant amount of attention was placed on teams that finished strong. And for the most part, teams that finish strong can carry the momentum over. Now, one of the reasons I think we've gotten away from it, teams are so fundamentally different from one year to the next now. So many guys leave.
Yes, right.
And so many new guys arrive. But still, the nucleus is still there for the Jets for the most part. It's not like their nucleus has gotten worse. If anything, their nucleus of players has gotten better.
Yeah.
And they finished 6-2 last year, and there's something to be said for finishing 6-2. And we've talked about it with the Falcons. For some reason, I feel like we give the Falcons more of a bump from their 6-2 finish than we do for the Jets.
Right. Well, you know why. Why is that?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, because the Falcons have superstar names across the board, right? So we look at them and go, damn, they got difference makers. Oh, the game plan's not working good. Oh, Julio caught a 4-yard pass and ran for 70. Okay, screw the game plan. They got Todd Gurley and then Calvin Ridley, and then we know they got some names on defense. I know there's some of them they're going to have to worry about their health. That's why Atlanta, like, if you gave me a team to talk about as like if I had to pick, like, okay, you got a dark horse Super Bowl team, Atlanta would be one of those teams that I think I'd have on a very short list to go, nobody's talking about it, but I think they're talented enough to be in a Super Bowl team. But I don't trust it this year, not in the pandemic year, not in a team that we've seen has fallen like flies the 2 previous years with injuries. I'm not going to pick this to be the year they stay healthy. So that scared the death out of me. But at least that's my 2 cents. There's more household names on Atlanta, and in the Jets, we're still trying to, like Joe Douglas said, figure out who those guys are. Who are those good ball players that you're talking about that aren't household names yet, that you're seeing on practice yet? Well, we don't know. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't had preseason football, and I think that's why you're more comfortable with the Falcons than the Jets.
Let me tell you, I breathed a sigh of relief when you said scared the death out of me, because I've never heard that saying. I've heard scared the something else out of me, and I thought that's where you were going. So thank you. Once again, for self-editing thyself. But here's the other side of it, too. Look, I have no problem with Joe Douglas being upset that people think the Jets are going to stink. Good, be upset. That's one of the ingredients to getting your locker room properly motivated and focused. Go in there and tell those guys no one believes in us. How many times have we seen coaches parlay that into the kind of focus that results in catching a team that, like the Bills right out of the gates. Last year the Bills and the Jets were kind of regarded right about even. Right. And the Jets were up 16-0 and they blew it, right? This year the Bills are here and the Jets are here.
Yeah.
So maybe the Bills walk into the buzzsaw. Maybe the Bills are a little complacent. Maybe the Bills are thinking, it's just the Jets. And this is the way to put everyone on notice right out of the gates that it's not just the Jets. We see this every year. There will be the results of several games this week that make us say, we were wrong about that team. Now, I always say throw out the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's right.
But still, there will be results that make us say, maybe we need to go back and revisit what we thought about that team, good, bad, or otherwise. And
definitely.
The Jets have an opportunity right out of the gate. And it's good they're pissed off. To get pissed off, get focused, and go to Buffalo and win. You don't have to worry about fans in the stands. Go there and get the win and come home 1-0 and get ready for the 49ers. And if somehow they could pull off that double, Bills-49ers, the annual Chris Berman Super Bowl prediction, if you could somehow pull that off to start the season, all of a sudden, the Jets are viewed far more differently than they are right now.
Yeah, you're right about that. There's no doubt. I mean, that would go a long way. Really, even that opening stretch, if they can just, come out 1-2, 2-1, that'll go a long way to changing the frame or the mind of the players in the locker room, just the overall thought of the organization within the organization. I think that's something that, would go a long way there. Jets are a team to watch out for. I can't put my name to it. I just can't. Not yet. I just don't know if there's enough good players there. The defensive side of the ball, I know they were good last year. I do worry about, difference makers on that defense, and especially no longer with Jamal Adams and, no big-time pass rusher. Those are the things that bother me, along with the AFC East, having a year of studying Greg Williams a little bit more and getting used to what he does there. So I think they're a pain in the butt. I can't say that I think they're going to be a playoff team or anything like that.
For that last spot in the AFC and the NFC, it is the ultimate crapshoot. It is close your eyes and throw a dart. I may pull a name out of the hat for the 7th spot in the AFC and the NFC. It's wide open. It could be any of these teams except for the Jaguars and the Bengals. But other than that, the Jets have as good a chance as anyone else to steal that last spot. And that's what's going to make this year even more exciting as we get into December. That race for the last spot, that opportunity to be the team that can go in and upset the 2 seed in the wild card round. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And it starts tomorrow night with Texans-Chiefs.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.